Danielle and Tiffany, thank you so much for joining me on the Become a Media Maven podcast.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
I'm excited to have you. I think only once I've had two people on the podcast at the same time, and it's always fun to have the listeners guess whose voice belongs to Tiffany and whose voice belongs to Danielle. So, Tiffany, you are the owner and designer of Taudrey Jewelry. Danielle, you are the director of creative and communications. You two work on the marketing. Before we get into the nitty gritty of the marketing, the changes that you both recently went through with COVID and shutting down a brick and mortar location, Tiffany, talk to me about how Taudrey Jewelry started. And I guess just give me the Cliff's notes onto how you got to where you are today.
Sure. My definitely my favorite story to tell. So I started Tawdry from my bedroom floor 11 years ago, pretty much just like hand stamping charms, stringing bracelets, crafting jewelry for my friends and family. At this time is when e-commerces started to become very accessible. To anybody that wanted to open a business. And again, this is back in 2009, I must point out, heavy during recession time. So it was definitely a challenging and different time to open a business. But again, I started very casually, friends and family, opened my first website, and little by little, organic, steady growth. And fast forward to 11 years later, we're an online based business that focuses on personalized jewelry. We handcraft everything in house. We're an all female team. We also focus on empowering women through our jewelry. We sell across the country. We're also a QVC brand and partner, which is something that I'm really proud of, that we've worked very hard for. And I come from a family of entrepreneurs. So, my mom, my dad, my uncle. So I've been surrounded by entrepreneurs all my life. So that grit and passion and hard work was instilled in me at a very young age, which I still very much pour into Tawdry. And it's something that I'm about. But that's like a really quick cliff note. And funny side story, Danielle, who's the head of all of creative and communications, we are childhood best friends. So that's something and a fun fact that everybody loves to hear. We've grown up together since, younger than 10. And the fact that I get to work with my best friend is so fun. And I feel that you really feel that in the brand. All of my other team members and employees, since we are an all-female team, we're very family oriented, and have all become very close and have this almost like Tawdry sisterhood, which I feel again is really expressed through our brand and through our jewelry.
I love that. It's the same over here at Media Maven, at my PR agency. We are an all-female team of 10. And I don't know, it's just a much different dynamic when you have all females who support each other. It's different. Tiffany, talk to me about, that was definitely like the overview Cliff Notes version.
Mm-hmm.
For you starting on the bedroom floor and going online to where you are today, is there one thing that you can say, like one specific strategic thing, something that listeners can take away that you did that helped with that growth, and one thing that you did that you were like, what a waste of time and money?
Let's see. For each of those, there would be lots of things.
Right.
There's so many, ups and downs and obstacles and growth spurts, I feel, even that you go through in running a business. If I had to pinpoint one, and I would say when the shift of Tawdry really started, because again, it took me, I started thankfully so young. I feel like it took me a few years to define the brand, to really know which direction that, we wanted the brands to go. So I feel like once that was the branding of Tawdry was really identified, that's when the shift happened and the growth happened. Because I always say, you can buy anything from anybody, right? You can buy jewelry from Amazon. You can buy, even that shirt that you had on that we had just mentioned. Like you can buy anything, which is the beauty of, I feel like, online shopping now. But what differentiates Taudrey and what differentiates any brand that, people are fans of, is like the story behind it and the meaning behind it and what you stand for. So once we identified, like, okay, what does Taudrey mean? And what do we want our Taudrey girls to feel when you wear Taudrey? What do we want, um, I don't know, the umph and the meat behind the brand? That's when I felt like it really made a difference. And that shift must have been now going on 5-6 years ago, once like Danielle helped me to really start identifying that. And how we say she's very much like the voice to Taudrey's, and she handles all of the communication part. That's not my forte, and I'm happy to be like the face of Taudrey, and we'll talk to everybody, and kind of like lead the company and the brand. So that's what I feel like for any small businesses out there, as you're, growing and trying to find your direction, really hone down on your why, as much as we hear that all the time. But I feel like that's what's going to make the difference.
100%. And in marketing as well, we have a client, Little Words Project. It's also jewelry, but just bracelets and just beaded bracelets that have a positive message and a positive saying on it. And all of the media coverage, not all of it, but I would say maybe half of the media coverage that we get, it's not about like the product itself, it's about the story. We got the creator in Forbes. She had like a 3-minute segment on the Today Show just a couple of months ago, and it was all because of the story of being bullied, and here's a positive message, and for girls to support other girls. So the branding is huge. So Danielle, in working with that branding, what is your day-to-day like? Because there's so much under the creative umbrella. There is so much under the marketing umbrella. Yeah, like that's why people are like, oh, you're a marketing agency? I'm like, nope, we're PR, and we're even more niche than that. Like we get you in the news without ads. Like that is it, because there's so much. So what is your day-to-day like?
Day to day is a little wild. It changes a lot. I think because I really feel like in COVID, we really appreciated that we're like the perfect size company right now to go through this, because we're small enough that we can pivot quickly. We don't need grand corporate approvals to make changes to things, but we are large enough and have the experience at this point that we can properly make the pivots that we need to survive in this climate. So day to day, I would say overarching thing is to kind of be the brand police and make sure that every piece of communication that comes out of or is under the Tawdry umbrella is unified and consistent with our voice and our details, down to, we kind of have like a language, like we refer to the team as the Todd Squad. We refer to that room that Tiffany's in right now as the jewelry box. We refer to Tiffany as the Todd Boss. Our jewelries are called the Pretties. So everything has
I love all of these names. Oh my gosh.
It's totally a language.
It's a language. And, we really pay attention and really focus on those little details. We want, even down to our product descriptions, for it to always sound like one of us are talking to you about the product. One of us are showing you what the pieces are. So I think that's what I'm doing all day long, whether that's in writing something for an email blast or designing something that's going to go on top of that email blast. Like, is it in our Tawdry story? Is it cohesive? Is it Tawdry? Because we feel like we look at something and we're like, that's not us. We can even look at a font, a color, a ribbon, and know like that's not our brand. And we can deviate a bit, like even for holiday, we will throw in a mauve color, or like a dark burgundy or a green. And then if we get too far, we're like, oh, no, that's not Tawdry. Go back to the pinks and the golds and the blush tones that are part of our brand. So I think, just today I'm writing copy for new products that we're putting up on the site and designing an email blast that'll go out to promote those products, and working on things that are coming up next week. But really, that's what I do throughout the day is just try to keep all of our messaging together.
And how have things changed for you since the pandemic? You guys did have a physical location where people could actually walk in on the Miracle Mile, and now you are online only. So tell me about the shift, what's working and what's not working.
Sure. So we have a showroom, because it's not a traditional storefront, but it's a showroom that's our workspace / where people were able to come shop. We're in downtown Coral Gables, right just off of Miracle Mile. And come COVID, we decided to close our doors. Well, first we had to during the shutdown, and we were, on a staggered schedule. And we decided to stay closed to customers for a couple of reasons. We were always more online based. We ship nationally, not just within Miami. So our online presence was definitely a lot more than our local like showroom in-store shopping. So with that, thank goodness we were able to even thrive during this time. And we decided to keep the doors closed for a few reasons. One, as Danielle mentioned, we're a small team and also a small workspace. So it's very important for us to keep our team safe and healthy. That is one of the main reasons. And also because we feel that we've been able to become so much more efficient this way. And our brand and our sales and everything has just grown so much that we're like, well, maybe at the moment, right? Because again, we're open to always constantly changing. At the moment, we are just going to stick to online based, and both the risk of, for the customers and for our team is not worth it when we can provide a great experience. Online shopping, we have a quick turnaround time since we hand make everything in house, and we do have a curbside pickup option that our local customers still really enjoy, where you can office door or we take it down to your car. So that was one of the biggest, I would say, like pivots and shifts. We are still, as Danielle's logging in from her house, she still works from home. Myself and some of the crafters, we still come in. We separated ourselves in the different rooms. But thankfully, Danielle's able to do everything from remote in order to give us more space to spread out within the jewelry box.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. I love the jewelry box. I feel like now I need to name my team and name my workspace, because that just makes it so much more fun. And I'm a little obsessed with your names. Okay. So Danielle, I have a love-hate relationship when it comes to working with influencers. And I say this as somebody who has worked as an influencer. I used to do TV news in the Miami market. I still do TV hosting. I have my lifestyle blog, so I dabble in it. And then on the PR side, I have dabbled in it with clients. And I mean, there are some influencers, and I'm using air quotes when I say influencers, that will deliver and do an amazing job. And there are others that make your work life a living hell. So tell me how you work with influencers, and if people are listening and they want to work with influencers, or maybe they are an up and coming influencer, which can we just content creator, let's say content creator, because I hate influencer. What are you seeing that you're liking? What are you seeing that you are hating at Tawdry when it comes to influencers?
So I think our approach to that is exactly how we approach our customers, and all of our relationships that we have, whether it's with, a vendor or somebody we're doing a collab with or partnership. We just want to be friends. We don't people that we wouldn't be friends with in real life. And I think that's how we always start off our relationships with content creators and influencers. We'll send them something and a note saying, we're not asking for anything. We just wanted to give you this. Most of our stuff is personalized, so we're able to kind of make something that's special for them with their baby's name or their dog's name or a coordinate of where they're from or their wedding date or something of that sort. So we'll send them something and just say, hey, if you love it, let us know if you love it. If you don't, that's fine. And most people love our stuff, and they get all emotional about it because we get to pull at their heartstrings with the name of their baby or their dog or something, and they'll post about it organically, and that's worked really, really well for us. And Tiffany did an amazing job with when she started the company, it was when a lot of these content creators were starting out. It was when blogging was starting out. And she became friends with a lot of them and just would send them some of her stuff. And she was starting out. So a lot of girls that we work with now have grown up alongside Tiffany, and they don't, like, we just have a really great relationship with us, and they want to root for Tawdry. So they promote our stuff without sometimes us even asking. And so I really think it's just so important to have a great relationship with these women, and to respect the hustle and respect the ones that are hustling and doing their job. Of course, you're going to always run into people and anything that you're doing that aren't holding up their end of the deal. And I think that's something that as we've grown, we've realized, okay, we're not going to be best friends with everybody. So we do need to have contracts. We do need to have things in writing, because when we were very young and starting this, we were like, oh no, but we DM'd and it's cool and we're going to do this. And then we're like, oh no, now we should have contracts and things laid out. So we definitely have had those growing pains. So I would say have relationships with people, form strong relationships, and no matter what the relationship, put things in writing so that things don't get awkward, even when they are your friends or when they're not your friends, that you can have everything laid out and to the point. And that's really how we do it. We don't have this major budget for influencer collaboration, so we try to do it through our pretties and hope that they love it and they'll want to share it with their friends.
I love that. And for those listening, you can check out the jewelry. It is beautiful at Taudrey.com. That's Taudrey.com. That's a great outlook on working with influencers. And Tiffany, props to you for seeing the value in that straight out of the gate and building those relationships, because it really can be, depending on what kind of influencer you're working with, it really can be a budget-friendly way to get the word out there. It can also be very expensive if you want to hire somebody like Kim K to post some jewelry. So it really just depends. What other kind of marketing are you ladies doing over there outside of influencer marketing?
And I wanted to add that you just made me think of something with regards to influencer marketing. Something that we do that we think is really appreciated by the influencers is we don't push exclusivity, which I think that's very helpful for them, because we don't feel like it's natural for someone to only wear Tawdry. So we understand if you want to push something and you're wearing Tawdry with 3 other brands, that's cool. That's real life. That's how people really are styling themselves. So we always say that you don't have to just talk about Taudrey when you're promoting your piece. And we feel like that's been really helpful for us.
I agree. And I think how Danielle mentioned our approach is definitely like a friendship approach, and more, we want whoever's going to be, posting and sharing about Taudry to really do it genuinely, and because they like authentically love the brand. So that's why we always start our relationship with, here are some Taudry pretties. We hope you love it. Let us know your thoughts. But I think you don't have to go into the relationship like asking for this or how much do you charge for this, or and I feel like then you can build it organically. So thankfully, like, yes, we have all this great relationships with especially like South Florida based influencers that we've grown, side by side over the years, but even new influencers that we haven't even met in person and live across the country, and that have big, large followings. They'll even work with us when we tell them honestly, like, look, we don't have the budget to pay this for post, but what can we come up with? And I think for people to understand, like, anything can be an open negotiation, and it needs to make sense for both parties. So maybe it could be work with someone on a commission based, like, if you help us post this and this many sales, you can make a commission off of sales. So these are kind of just some different examples, but I definitely think having people that represent your brand correctly, having people that love your brand, that genuineness will come across through the promotions. And some other marketing that we're really concentrating on lately is definitely email marketing. We really see the value and importance of our email list and of our email communication. How much has Instagram changed every single day? Now, hello, I need to become a Reels expert and I can't seem to get it down. So, it's like, it's constantly changing. And if Instagram doesn't like what you're posting, well, your feed's not going to pop up on people's phones anymore. So I think like the most important thing is email marketing, because at least we know that we're getting our message into our Tawdry girls inboxes. And, it's a direct communication that we can have with them. And kind of to go off of that, we're really into our referral marketing. We have, of course, because there's a cute name for everything, we have our Tawdry Troop, which is our referral program where we tell our Tawdry girls, if you help to spread the word and tell your friends to opt into our email list, we'll give you rewards in both discounts, Tawdry merch, shopping sprees. We like really give back to our girls in our Tawdry Troop. So referral marketing has been a big thing for us. I would say definitely over like the last 12 months or so. Email marketing. What else would you say? Those are like the top ones on my list.
And we did ramp up our social media ads within the last year as well. And we just started doing some video versions of those into stories that Tiffany did some great videos. And those have been doing really well. So we definitely have focused on that. And yes, and email marketing.
Yeah. And even to touch upon those on the ads, and like I used to be so intimidated. Let's say if you have to do a stories ad, if you need like a professional camera and a videographer, it's like I did it. I learned this from some like people that I admire and look up to, and I listen and read their books, and they're like, I just do it on an iPhone. And you want to be yourself and you want to represent your brand. And we have these ads now that are performing super well, that it's literally me here on my desk with a little phone stand and just talking about Tawdry. So I think if you're doing social media ads, like don't get intimidated. It doesn't need to be this fancy production. iPhones can do amazing things. And, it's just all about like getting started.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody says that. I mean, everybody says that their more off the cuff, in the moment ads do so much better than the highly produced ones, because that's what people actually want to see.
Mm-hmm.
And for more on email marketing, you can check out episode 104, because we did an episode with somebody at a PR agency about getting email marketing right and fixing those mistakes. Can I add something to your marketing list, Danielle and Tiffany?
Sure.
I think you could get in so many gift guides between now and the end of the year. All of my product clients, like, this is the Super Bowl, because there is a gift guide for everything. There's a gift guide for moms, for sisters, for friends, for jewelry lovers. A gift guide's under $20, under $50, $100. So you guys could be getting in so many gift guides. So Danielle, that's what I'm adding on your list of things to do. So pitch those media outlets to get in those gift guides.
I know.
Absolutely.
And it's funny that you refer to it as our Super Bowl. I literally have that written down on like our board in our craft room. I'm like, our Super Bowl is coming. That's what we refer to this season as.
Yes.
So it's funny that you said that.
We are on the same page. Is there anything else you ladies would like to add that maybe I haven't asked? Oh, Tiffany, I do. We totally went by it. When you were building the business, from when you started till now, what did you do that you would not repeat or advise others not to do? A big waste of time or money? I know it's hard to pick just one thing, but anything that stands out.
Oh my gosh. Now in looking back, oh, it's so hard. I don't know. And I really feel, and I know it might sound cliche or whatever you want to call it, but like everything is such a learning process. So I feel like all of my failures, and boy, have there been so many, I feel that you learn, and that's how you grow and mature and just become like more of a well-seasoned entrepreneur and leader. Oh my gosh, let me think of, you could probably come up with one better than me. What would you say? Oh, something that I've done.
I mean, maybe not an actual decision, but I think mindsets. I think maybe a lot of times because I've been right there with you, like when something happens or when an opportunity doesn't work out and we get so down and it's like learning how to ride that roller coaster of entrepreneurship and small businesses. And there's going to be lows, but you have to remember when you're in the low that you're going to go up again. And then when you're up, you got to remember, enjoy this moment because you're going to be down again. So I think maybe to to be more level with our emotions would be.
That's a good one. It is an emotional roller coaster. And I would say, I feel like it took me a few years. This may come more from like a product based business, although we definitely, and I've been trying to tell the girls more that we have to see ourselves as a customer based business, like a customer service based business, and as a lifestyle business. And we are definitely more than just jewelry. But since we do sell a product, I feel like I would have loved earlier to really have learned my pricing strategy earlier, my margins earlier, like maybe really honing down into the financials. I wish I would have known that sooner, because I feel like that's what's really helped our growth and to making smart decisions. So that would be it if I had to go back.
Great advice. Great advice. And honestly, I feel like everything you mentioned with the finances and the mindset, I think that is pretty common, because those are things that people are, I don't know if they're afraid to really dive into, or it's like you don't know what you don't know until you're in a situation. So I think that's really great. Tawdry.com. You can find Tawdry Jewelry on social at Taudrey Jewelry 21. Tiffany, Danielle, anything else before we say goodbye?
Oh, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. I can't wait. I'm going to go back and listen to that episode 104 to hear.
I have tons. I have tons and tons of episodes.
I can't wait to hear those. But no, thank you so much for having us. Thank you for, giving us this platform to share our Taudry story. And I would say to, all the entrepreneurs and small businesses, this is something that I'm really embracing lately, is just to like enjoy the journey. There's going to be ups, there's going to be downs, and the growth is what like the best part is. And the growth, the failures, all of that. So to enjoy the journey would be my last message.
And don't be afraid to cry.
Don't be afraid to cry.
You're afraid to cry. If you need to cry, just cry. We all cry. Tiffany and I cry.
Especially in 2020, we all cry.
Exactly.
Cry, and then you laugh, and then you pop a bottle of champagne, and you celebrate, and we get through it, and we get better.
It's like that meme, or there's an illustration, and it says like the entrepreneur's journey, and it's just like all over the place, like really high and then really low, and it is. I mean, it really is. And everybody thinks, they see you online and they're like, oh, they're a success story overnight. Well, no, not so much. Not so much. So awesome. This was awesome. Thank you, Tiffany. Thank you, Danielle. For you listening, if you want to learn how to earn media exposure without spending money on ads, make sure you subscribe to this podcast, where we give you 2 episodes every week with tips and tricks and strategies from some of the best in the business. Thank you for listening.
Bye.
Thank you.